Hello everyone. I've read a news report about a video game instead of a father forces his son to destroy a PlayStation 4 for bad grades. He decided to teach his son a lesson when he came home from school with falling grades. So he says he believed that once his son start playing video games and he started to let his grade goes down, and therefore he was going to take away the video game as PS4, and he put his son's PS4 into two plastic bags and told his son to grab a crowbar and come outside. He then told his son to start hitting the PS4 with the crowbar so this breaks, and he decides to take matter into his own hands and not only break the video game, that's PS4, but also run it over his car, and he hopes this will teach his son a lesson that school and his grade come first.
Have you heard the news before? Public normals think video games are bad, and so let's see what the professional people think. Christopher John Ferguson, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, a meta-analytical review of positive and negative effects of violent video games. In their research, they found the meta-analytical and publication bias both showed aggressive behavior not related to the violent video games. And meta-analytics shows only 2% overlap in variance between violent video game playing and aggressive behavior. You can see this 2% is really low, and you can see it's near to zero. And for publication bias, the relationship between violent video games exposure and aggression drops to R plus 0.04 with a confidence interval that crosses zero. So this result does not support your relationship between violent game playing and aggressive behavior. So people normally think if our kids playing violent game and they behave violent, so that's why the reasons those violent games have a like R16 or R17 have a rate limited. And 2015, Jeff Kane and Peggy Pisicki, there are serious games a good strategy for pharmacy education. So those professionals are thinking about to put video games in education. So let's see how they're doing about this. So they're saying learners typically enjoy serious games over traditional lectures. So it's pretty easy to understand. If you can learn something from playing video games, then read a book or go to class, I'm sure you will choose to play video games. And 19 serious games are effective not because they're games, but because of the cognitive and psychological process involved when players play them. And the 90 serious games are the games they do research about it, and they found out maybe it's not because they're game, but the things involved in them make them be educational. And one moment misconception about gaming fiction is that any type of gaming tactic will automatically make learning more engaging. This, however, mistakes superficial gaming experience for specific design psychological expressions, and educators with little or no training in game design should not create gaming experience because it is very easy to design bad games with little to no effect on learning. So these professionals are saying like video games can be educational, but not video games are educational. If you want to make an educational game, you need to have experience in educational area. So they're still not saying video games are bad. They're just saying the video game has bad video games has little or no effect on learning. So not bad to learn. And Redfield and Weber, they write video games for entertainment and educational. And they mentioned about multiplayer games, so it's online game you can play with other players, and this And the multiplayer games, especially for the individuals, can meet in a virtual environment and provide a social context free from real life constraints. So they're saying if you think your kids are staying at home playing video games and not going to the society, and they probably have friends online, so they can still have social activities online, then go outside hang out with friends. I'm not saying they do not need to go out, but I'm saying that it's not that bad so kids to communicate with people online. And video games to my own experience, I play video games like since I was, I don't know, 4 years old. It's before elementary school, and my cousin introduced me to the video games and I played all. And most of my family members do not like me to play video games, except my cousin and my parents. My parents, they say, and he's a child, and child likes play games, just let him play. And so I played a lot, and you can see I'm now a college student and I have a 3.0 GPA, not bad. I never stopped playing video games, and I never did some violent things to some people, never hurt someone, but I play violent games. So games are not the reason your kids behave violent or something bad. Maybe the important thing is to educate them, to teach them that how you will behave and to control yourself with video games and your real life. And maybe they can learn a lot from the video games and from video games and use them into your real life. Like for me, last year I played a game, a Spider-Man game, and there's a word I didn't understand in the game because it's a full English game, and the word is antidote. So I didn't know what the word means, but from the game I know it's a Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man game, and his enemy, Scorpion stinged him, and I know Scorpion's attack has poison in it, and so Spider-Man saying he need to find a antidote. So I know antidote might be something that can cure poison or venom. So I remember these words so it's more easily than just by reading a vocabulary book. So video games can be really educational and not harmful, not at all, or maybe harmful to your eyes, but that depends on the times you're using it. So as a conclusion, video games can be really educational and of course entertainment. And video games has bad parts, but it can be avoided by parents. Parents can teach their children when you can play video games, when you can't, and the time you spend on video games and the time you need to spend on your real life activities. So the most important part is the parents, the educator, not the child, the learning from playing video games. So bad or good all depends on the parents or the teachers, not depends on the kids, because the kids don't know. They just know video games are good, are really fun. Thanks for watching.